What's up, Dp-Ygo here, looking at a fantastic new piece of Pegasus support coming out in the DP19. You guys know that Pegasus is getting a mini overhaul, I would say. It's getting a new fusion monster, he's getting his first fusion spell, he's getting another effect monster to coincide with that other support, and now he has another piece of support to help him get those eyes restrict monsters back from the graveyard and basically make it so that you can continually have either relinquish or a fusion monster on the field. This is a really good piece of support, and I think that this is kind of how Konami should use the blueprint of designing legacy support, because I think this card is solid and it's very practical and easy to use. This is Magical Illusionist Faceless Mage. It is a level 5 and it only has 1200 attack. When I first saw that, I was like, oh geez, here we go again. High level monster that I can't normal summon, that is probably going to be like super bricky, but no, its utility is what makes it really not a problem that it is actually level 5. It's a dark spellcaster, 2200 defense. I imagine most of the time you have this on the field, it's going to be in defense position because it only has 1200 attack. You're not going to be really beating anything, you know, over with that. Each effect is a hard once per turn. The first effect says, if a face-up, eyes restrict fusion monster or relinquish you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, and this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card. So that's really good. Obviously, that's the way of getting it out of your hand, but also it can come back from the graveyard, so that's a nice +1. Now, I thought at first, I was like, this is cool, but it's not enough to make me want to play it. Like, what am I supposed to do with it on the field? The second effect has that question covered. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one eyes restrict fusion monster or relinquish in your graveyard, special summon that monster. So that's really good. Or excuse me, you can target, I just said special summon that monster. You can target one eyes restrict fusion monster or relinquish in your graveyard, and then you special summon that monster. This is really good because obviously it creates kind of a little bit of a mini loop. It actually reminds me of the Red Eyes Egg, how the Red Eyes Egg gets you a big Red Eyes, and then you can put a big Red Eyes back into your deck to add the Red Eyes Egg to your hand. This is the same type of thing. If one of your relinquish or eyes restrict monsters dies, ideally you'd want to summon your Faceless Mage, and then you just send the Faceless Mage to the graveyard, and then you get that monster right back, and you just kind of do it over and over and over again. And the cool thing is, this card does not have to be destroyed to summon that eyes restrict fusion monster or relinquish back. That's a very important thing to note, because if you ever need to manually activate this, if your opponent's like, I'm not gonna attack it, I'm not gonna blow it up or something, all you got to do is just link summon with it. You can just trade it in for any like random link monster, like a proxy dragon or something like that, or just any, you know, random like decode talker or something like that, and then its effect is obviously going to trigger and you get your monster back from the graveyard. So I think this is a really solid card. You can also use it from your hand to summon relinquish as the ritual payment, and then you don't get it back from the graveyard. That's really nice. The only thing that I wonder about this card is it seems a little ass backwards, because if you look at, and it's not this card's fault, I think it's just kind of the design of how Konami had it, or how Konami didn't really think about it in context of the other cards. If you look at the new ritual, if you look at the new relinquish fusion spell, this card actually banishes the cards that you use as fusion materials. So like, I mean, hypothetically you could banish this card, but it seems like it's much better in the graveyard where you can kind of infinitely use it. So I would say worst case scenario, you can still use this for the relinquish fusion, because the new fusion monster requires a relinquish plus an effect monster. Obviously this is an effect monster, so it meets those conditions. But this is not a card that you ideally want to banish. I would say that you're trying to use this thing 3-4 times in a duel. Maybe after like the 3rd time you've used it, maybe then banish it, or if you have multiple copies, then go ahead and banish it. But ideally, I would have liked it a little more if they would have designed it in a way that it would have like practically worked with the fusion spell. But from every other angle, I think that it's a really solid card. I definitely run probably a couple of copies of it, because again, once it hits the graveyard, as long as your relinquish doesn't get spun back into the deck, or your eyes restrict fusion monster, you know, doesn't get like banished or something like that, you should be okay. As long as it doesn't get kaiju'd, or, you know, well, even if it gets kaiju'd, you'd probably, yeah, well, yeah, you'd just kind of be screwed at that point. But still, this card is very good. Anyways, whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on those notifications for daily videos.